Good evening, everyone. I'm going to turn the introduction over to our local radio personality at KDHX, Music from the Hills, John Ullman. I'm sure that you all know him, and he'll tell you a little bit about these guys and their music.
Well, I'm especially delighted to see you all again. One thing that is not mentioned in the blurb that's written here is that, first of all, the people who we really need to thank are the coutures. We're sitting at Rex and Nancy, who helped bring these people here the first time, and they've been here to Focal Point once before. But what has a personal meaning for us is that my wife and I and the coutures share a common wedding anniversary. We didn't know that way back then. And for our collective 50th anniversary, somewhat delayed, we had it in Denmark, and these people were here to help us celebrate, and that's meant more to me than you can possibly know. Danish music doesn't get played often enough. It's very interesting stuff. At first it sounds just sort of diatonic, but there's an awful lot of very interesting subtleties, and I love the way that these guys in particular interact with each other. I would like to clarify one thing in here. They talk about the exotic Sønderhoning. The only thing that makes it exotic is that the music is in 2/4, but the dance is in 3. So you start dancing across measures and everything, and if you live there in Fanø, you just do it. But you'll hear a few of those, and hopefully we'll get a chance to do some of this on the floor. Sonnich Lydom, last time he was here, he only had 4 harmonicas. I noticed they've somehow multiplied into 7. So, do you play more than one at a time? No. Okay. Well, that's that.
I can change very quickly.
Okay. And the diatonic accordion, and of course Kristian Bugge, who is an incredible fiddle player, accentuating lines. You always hear where the beat is, although never just, it's perfect. So I'm delighted to have you all here, and I hope you all have a great time. I know you will.
Good evening, St. Louis. Hey! We're very happy to be back, and thanks a lot for the introduction. It's been way too long, so we can hardly wait any longer now. We just want to get started.
Yeah.
Isn't that right, Sonic?
Oh yeah, of course. We're gonna hear some mostly dance tunes from all around our little tiny kingdom of Denmark. A few folk songs maybe,
Probably.
if we're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start off with 3 polka tunes from the island of Læsø, which is up in the northeast corner. This island is between Denmark and Sweden, actually. 1.5 hours ferry, so it's pretty far out, and so is the music. Right, over here. you so much. Oh, I think we must have a break now. Okay. We'll slow it down a little bit and play a lovely old waltz. A very early waltz, I believe, which we don't really know much about. We found it in some old manuscript. But then we speed it up again and play a hopsa tune.
Yes, that's a one called reggaeton, and it's from the very northernmost part of Denmark, a region called Vendsyssel.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Shall we try?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, hopsa is a Danish specialty, popular dance, usually played and danced towards the end of a little dance set right before people want to go to the bar. So if there is a bar in the venue where you're playing for dancing, then the bar people, they will love you for playing a hopsa right before the break, because then they got customers. But anyway, you've just sat down,
At
so that's
home
okay.
we have this explanation to play people off the door with a hopsa.
Or floor.
Off
Yeah.
the floor, yeah, of course. Sorry.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, we changed the mood a little bit and play 3 tunes from. It was mentioned actually in the little speech here.
yeah, John mentioned the
Yeah.
Sønderhoning music.
The Island of Fanø on the west coast of Denmark. Tiny little island, 3,000 people living there. And there's the northern village of Nordby, around 2,000 people, and the southern village of Sønderhoning, 300 people. And I live there.
Yeah, he's one of them. The three.
I'm one of them, yeah. And I have a huge family there, so
Humongous.
The Lydoms are really
Big percentage
Oh,
of that village.
But in this little village, they have managed to keep on music and dance traditions for over 300 years, which is, I think it's maybe the only place in the world. Or I don't know.
Pretty unique
It's
for
pretty
sure.
unique.
Yeah.
It is. And they mainly love to dance this one dance called a Sønderhoning, named after the village and the people living there. And it's a very old dance, and they can dance that dance for the whole night. And of course, when you play for that dance, you need many tunes for this dance, and they say it's about 100 different tunes for this dance still played. I can promise you we won't play all 100, but three tunes. I can say they were all during the tall ships period in the 1800s. They were all sailors there, all men went to sea, and they sailed all over the world, the Far East, west coast of America, around Cape Horn and all that legendary stuff there. And there's a belief that many of these tunes the sailors heard from all these places around the world, I don't know if it's right, took them home and kind of fitted them into the local dance tradition there. But it's a fact that many of these tunes are very different from other kind of Danish dance tunes. We'll try and play these 3 tunes. What can I say? The titles are all about women.
Very nice theme.
The first one is called, in Danish, skal vi gå til fremmede lande for en liden tøs at få. And that means, do we have to travel to foreign countries to find a little girlfriend?
Good question.
And it might have been an old song way back, because there's another line saying, skal over sø og salten vande til Amerika at gå. And that means over sea and salty waters to America to go. And the last tune is called The Widow's Dance, eller Enkedansen. And being a widow in those days were very common. It was a very dangerous job to sail these ships, and a lot of sailors never returned again. So, well, let's have a happy evening and get it on. And just play the 3 beautiful tunes from there. The Island of Fanø. I should say, maybe, there was this legendary fiddle player, Fritz Blank. He died 30 years ago, but he was a very passionate fiddle player for this kind of music, and I think he took this music to a new place. And he said, this music should be played only by two fiddles playing in unison, the same tune, with the same notes. And that's what we'll try and do with fiddle and accordion now. So sorry, Fritz. Tak for det, og tak til Nancy og Rex.
Couple number one. Beautiful.
Okay, I'll try and sing you a little song now, an old folk song, so we can hear the wonderful Danish language. Most of this song is just lots of nonsense words that doesn't mean anything. Just sounds fun, especially if you know Danish. But there is a brief little story, and it's about this farmer and his only goose, which unfortunately has been taken by a fox. And unfortunately for the fox, the farmer catched it. And this version of the song doesn't tell how it happened, but it did happen, and the fox, of course, knows, this is probably the last hour in my life. I try and do something, and he says to the farmer, "When you have killed me, could you please give my ears to the forester, because he needs a good ear to listen what goes on in the woods. And my eyes could you give them to the hunter, he needs a good eye to shoot. And my beautiful tail could you give it to the guy that makes hats and coats and things like that. And oh, by the way, my 4 legs, could you give them to the fox?" And then he ran away out in the woods. Was never seen again. And the farmer is still standing there. What happened there? What happened there? Som de siger på jysk. Hvad fanden skete der lige der? That's it. But it has a nice tune. So we'll try that. Bonden havde en enlig gås,
Firligt sagde ræven,
og den lukkede han hver aften i lås.
for de hit, for de her, for de rev, for de rumpens slag, for de bundens 4 glier virumstær, for de brik, for de bundens datter, og den lille bitte kind lokker ræven fra busken og ind.
Og skovfoden, ham giver jeg mit øre,
Firligt sagde ræven,
for han skal altid lytte og høre.
for de hit, for de her, for de rev, for de rumpens slag, for de bundens 4 glier virumstær, for de brik, for de bundens datter, og den lille bitte kind lokker ræven fra busken og ind.
Og skøten, ham giver jeg mit øje,
Firligt sagde ræven,
for han skal altid sigte så løg.
for de hit, for de her, for de rev, for de rumpens slag, for de bundens 4 glier virumstær, for de brik, for de bundens datter, og den lille bitte kind lokker ræven fra busken og ind.
Og bundmæren, ham giver jeg min hal,
Firligt sagde ræven,
for han skal altid sy kasketter, der kan prale.
for de hit, for de her, for de rev, for de rumpens slag, for de bundens 4 glier virumstær, for de brik, for de bundens datter, og den lille bitte kind lokker ræven fra busken og ind.
Giver mine 4 ben,
Firligt sagde ræven,
så smuttede Mikkel af skoven ind.
for de hit, for de her, for de rev, for de rumpens slag, for de bundens 4 glier virumstær, for de brik, for de bundens datter, og den lille bitte kind lokker ræven fra busken og ind.
Thank you so much.
Sonnich Lydom, ladies and gentlemen. So we've just been driving through Iowa, and that's actually where we learned the next little set of tunes. We have a really good friend over in Ottawa, Iowa. His name is Dwight Lamb. All right. The crowd goes wild. Yeah. Exactly, you know who I'm talking about. Dwight is a great fiddle player and tradition carrier of music from the Missouri Valley area, and a lot of people younger than himself have been learning his tunes. And but for a long time, I think it was a secret to a lot of people that Dwight had a Danish grandfather who actually also played music. Back in 1893, Dwight's grandfather came over from the northern Denmark with his family and settled in Iowa, but he didn't bring only his family, he also brought both a fiddle and an accordion, because he'd grown up playing the local dance music up in Vendsyssel, that northern region in Denmark. And luckily, he kept playing these tunes his whole life in Iowa, and he passed the music on to Dwight, who's now 89 years old, but still playing, and we were playing with him on Saturday, this past weekend over in Canton, South Dakota. And I can tell you there has been made a movie about Dwight and his music and his story with his roots in Denmark and all that. So that that video or film was shown there in the big theater in Canton, South Dakota, and we got to play a little before that and also after that, and it was a great celebration. But we thought we'll keep celebrating this, and you know, if any of you play music and are interested in digging into this material of Danish tunes that Dwight has brought over, there's a tune book available up there by our CDs, and you can also just take a peek at it in the break or afterwards. But right now we're going to play a little quadrille tune and a little polka tune that we learned from Dwight, old Danish pieces. And I should mention that most of these pieces were forgotten in Denmark in all the years that passed since Dwight's grandfather left, so it's very important that Dwight and his grandpa, they kept this music alive, and so we're very thankful for them. So, okay, let's play these tunes.
I don't know who should be.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's my turn to sing a song. And this time, it's again one of these old folk songs, this time about a young swineherd. He's working in the pig's stable at the royal castle. And one day he goes to bed very sad because he had fallen in love with the princess. And obviously if you work with looking after the pigs, that's not ideal. So he goes to bed very sadly, but luckily the princess has also noticed him. So actually she sneaks into his room at night, and when he sees that she's there, he says, "Oh, this is not very good, you know. You can't be here. You'll have to go away. Otherwise I must go and complain to the king tomorrow." But she still decides to stay. And so next morning he goes to the king and says, "See, I need peace and quiet in my bedroom. I can't have your daughter running around there." The king is very surprised to hear this, and he calls in his daughter and says, "What's that I'm hearing?" She said, "Oh, I have to admit, yes, I went to his room. I very much like his company, and the king is worried about this, and this is not good." And he calls in the swineherd again, and then he has some surprising news. Actually, he says, "Well, I might look bad and, in my dirty clothes here from the stable, but actually, I'm the son of the King of England." So there you go. That kind of changes the picture. So then the king is relieved and says, "Oh, if that's true, then we should celebrate. I'll give my blessings to the two of you, and let's have a party." So they had a fantastic party, and they lived happy ever after. Like a true fairy tale. So it's a little fairy tale song from the folk scene in Denmark. We don't know where it came from, but it's very old, and we came to talk about on the tour here that it's almost like, our fairy tale writer, the most famous one, Hans Christian Andersen. He has a story about a swineherd, and there's some similarities in that story and in this song. So maybe he was inspired by this old song, who knows? But it's a fun little song, and a lot of the song is actually the refrain. There's only one line in each verse, and the rest is refrain. And if you feel like joining in, we'd love you to. And you don't need to speak Danish to join that refrain. It's just some tra-la-la words. And I'm sure you'll pick it up because it's going to come a lot of times. So just go for it, please, and join us. So here's Per Svinedreng. Per Svinedreng sad ved bords der grej. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Fordi han ej kongens datter kunne få. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Om natten han gik til sin seng og lå. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Så trakkede hun i kammeret ind. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Om din støvl er så sort som døn. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Så springer jeg i sengen op til dig. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Så går jeg til kongen og klager over dig. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Om morgenen han til grotten gik. Du di lu di la di di la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Hør, jeg vil have ro for de datter i min seng. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Så lod kongen sin datter kalde på sig. Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Hør, hvad er det for klage, der kommer over dig? Du di lu di la di 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 la du du di la di da. Du di lu di la di da. Jeg vidste, at det sandt, jeg i sengen hans gik. Så kaldte han på svinden sin. For jeg er jo ej af så ringe en stand. Nej, jeg er kongens søn af England. Ja, så skal I have min velsignelse i to. Og der blev holdt en fin fest. Og lykkeligt blev de to. Thank you very much. Nice job on the refrains, everybody.
Kristian Bugge, ladies and gentlemen. And I promise you, it's the original Kristian Bugge.
Thank you. Okay, we're gonna slow down and play two tunes in waltz time. These are old tunes from the 1700s, at least, found in old handwritten tune books that some musicians have left, and they can be found in the folk archives now in Denmark. And the first of these two tunes is actually from the oldest tune book that we know about, dated 1760, after a fiddler or a musician called Rasmus Storm. So it's two old tunes, and if you feel like dancing a waltz, now is a chance. It's a waltz and waltz time.
Thank you so much. We'll finish the first part of here with four tunes. 2 tunes for a dance called trekant, which is very common in Denmark all over, and 2 tunes for another dance called totur, which is also very popular. So
It's basically some party music.
oh yeah.
And with that, we want to wish you a great break. And of course, there's lots of refreshments available in the break. Some of them could also be our CDs. It can be long-lasting refreshments. You can hear them many times if you feel like it. So we can help you with that. But yeah, have a great break. And of course, there's more after the break.
Thank you so much.
So, have you been enjoying the show so far? This is a really special show. I just love these guys. They're great guys as well as just fantastic musicians. It's kind of like the music my people are from just north of their people, across the strait there in Skåne. So I remember the sound of this music from when I was a little kid, and I love it. So, but I think if you give a little bit of a round of applause here, I think these guys will come back up and play some more tunes.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Can you handle a few polkas?
Yes.
Very nice. Because that's what we will try to play now.
Did you have a good break? Oh, good.
Did you?
The best break the whole day. That's for sure. Very nice. Beautiful dancing. Thank you. Hey, Nancy and Rex. Lovely. That was a couple of hopsas tunes, and it's danced exactly like that. So nice job. Okay, we're gonna slow it down quite a bit from here and play again some old tunes from these old manuscript books. I can just mention there's like three main sources to the music that we play. First, the number one is when we can learn these tunes directly from another musician, a living person, and we can sit across from each other and play together, and you know, you can get a lot more details than you can ever write down on a piece of sheet music. So that's
Sheet music.
I didn't say that. So that's learning from a living musician. That's number one. Number two is learning from old recordings, and the oldest field recordings in Denmark were made in 1909, where a fiddler was recorded on a wax cylinder, like phonograph. You might have heard something like that. It's some pretty scratchy stuff to listen to, but you can still hear the good music through all the scratch. So that's also very nice. So that's number two source, and the third source is these old tune books that we already have mentioned, that musicians have written down their repertoires by hand, and a lot of these tune books have luckily survived up until today. And again, we're going to have another example of music from that source.
Yes. An old minuet and a tune called a murky, and nobody really knows what that means. It must have been maybe an old dance, but we're back in the 1700s and that has been lost, but not the tune. You can, in these tunes here, you can hear influence from classical music. I would say it's well known that all the great composers, they borrowed from folk music, but the other way was also, it's evident, at least in these two tunes here, I think. so much.
We're gonna go back to the island of Læsø, where we actually started. That little island up in the northeastern corner. It's 1.5 hours ferry ride out there from the top of Denmark. And Læsø Island is mainly famous for some very delicious sea salt that they sell and make. They make it up there, and they have been doing since the Middle Ages actually. And we were up there a few years back playing a church concert, and then we had a little bit of spare time, so we wanted to go and see this famous salt place. It was kind of out of season, but luckily we met one of the owners, and he agreed to show us around, and he told us the secret about their success. You know, they've been doing this salt for ages, but now it's really famous, and that has been famous maybe, I don't know, for 5 or 10 years, I don't know. But the success came when after they figured out, you know, to sell the salt in small bags for pretty large prices. It's a fantastic trick, you know, so if people see this tiny bag of salt and they see, oh, that's very expensive, that must be good, huh? We better have some. And we've been kind of, you know, thinking, how could we kind of implement this in our folk music? We haven't completely come up with the solution yet, but it's certainly an interesting idea, isn't it? But we kind of wish that the folk music from Læsø, those tunes, the crooked and little strange tunes, they would be as famous as the salt. So we try to keep spreading them. So we want to play 2 Rhinelander tunes here, like shoddy stance tunes for you from the island of Læsø.
much. Og tak for dansen. Det var smukt. Det er lidt svært at se heroppe fra, men...
Looked good, yeah. What we could see in this, yeah. Okay, it's time for another folk song. Again, one of these old stories. There's a farmer and a blacksmith, and they're trying to figure out how to get in touch with the miller's daughter. There's a lot of songs about this story, so I wonder where it really actually happened. I'm pretty sure it must have happened. But the farmer and the blacksmith figure out that if one of them jump into a corn sack, then the other one can carry that sack up to the mill. And there he's talking to the miller, and he says, I got this sack of grain here. I'd like you to make it into flour for me. Where can I leave it in the meantime? And the miller says, put it next to my daughter's bed. It's a safe place where no rats or mice will come near it. He likes that idea. He gladly puts it there, and then the day turns into evening. Everybody goes to bed, and then the sack starts moving around. Somebody yells out, hey, Miller, turn on the lights. There's thieves and robbers in the house. But very quickly the daughter replies, oh no, Dad, it's all fine. It was just a cat that caught a mouse. But then there's an older lady sleeping on the couch there. She says, it sounds like that cat is wearing big boots. So yeah, you get the idea to that kind of song. And I can tell you though, it has a happy ending, because 9 months later, the miller's daughter is having twins. So there you go. Great success for the farmer and the blacksmith. This version of the song has not one but two little refrains, and again we'd love you to join in on those. We can try them out. You don't need to speak Danish to join in. It's just some tra-la-la again. The first little refrain goes like this. Oh yeah, tra-la-la-la. Try that. Oh yeah, tra-la-la-la. Easy, huh? Second little refrain goes, feel a young, tra-la-la, feel a young. Almost like feeling young. We can try it together. Feel a young, tra-la-la, feel a young. It doesn't mean anything in Danish, but it's just some fun-sounding tra-la-la words. But this sounds very promising, so let's do it together. Bunden og smeden, de lavter rod, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. Hvorledes smeden skulle møllerens datter få, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Bunden tog smeden og put ham i en sæk, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. Så luskede han så fint op af møllerens hæk, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Hør du kære møller så farvefin, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. Hvor kan jeg sætte havresækken min, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Jo, du kan da sætte den al ved min datters seng, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. For der er hverken rotter eller mus, som skærer den, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Men da så alle var kommet i seng, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. Så begyndte den havresæk at kryve lidt omkring, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Hør kære møller stå op og tænd lys, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. Der er 20 og røver i vort gamle møllerhus, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Åh nej, kære far, sluk dit lys, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. For det var kun en kat, der tog en stakkels mus, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Men så den gamle kælling, som i slagbænken lå, oh ja, tra-la-la-la. Hun så den kat har stive støvler på, filler-jung, tra-la-la, filler-jung. Hør du gamle kælling i huset gram, åh ja, tralalala. I morgen skal du druknes i vor møllerdam. Filajung, filajung, filatralala, filajung. Tidens vandrer måneder ni, åh ja, tralalala. Så stod der en vugge med 2 store drenge i. Filajung, filajung, filatralala, filajung. Thank you. Oh yeah, I could mention that if you want to watch a movie, a tiny short movie about Miller's Daughter, you can find it on YouTube, where it's our music video. Every band has to have a music video, you know. So we made one, and Sonic and I got to be the farmer and the blacksmith. And, yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Guess who is who?
Yeah, there was a very pretty Miller's Daughter involved also. You can find that on YouTube. Just search for Gangspil and the Miller's Daughter, if you want to.
Yeah, we'll go back again to the little island of Fanø and play 2 more tunes from there. Most of the music that we play tonight is traditional material, old tunes and songs. These 2 tunes I have composed myself, all alone, but in the old style of this music from Sønderhoning. The first one I composed, it's many years. It's actually exactly 20 years ago, for my dad's 70th anniversary. He's sadly gone now, but okay, Daddy. He loved this music. All his family for many generations was from Sønderhoning. And the second tune I composed a few years back for some lovely neighbors that I have, Krej and Line. Yeah, lovely people and exceptional good dancers also. So here we go. I could say that with this music, this fiddler I mentioned in the first part, Fritz Brink, he also said, you should try and imagine a ship rolling in the sea while you kind of look at this dance and listen to the music. And he might be right about that. I'll try and watch for the ship anyway. Will you also? I will. Okay. Thank you so much, and thanks for the wonderful Sønderhoning dancing there. We should have one more of these old songs, shouldn't we? Yeah, I'm going to sing it anyway, because I love this song. It's a very old song now. I think it dates back to around the Reformation. And it's a love story between a horsefly and a housefly. This horsefly is madly in love with the housefly, and he decides to ride to her farm and tell her his mind. And so he did. And when he arrived, she was out in the yard already with his hermelin coat, looking fantastic. And he said, "Oh, fly, 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 I'm so in love with you. Why don't we get married?" And she looks at him and says, "What? Oh, no, no, no. That can never happen, because I'm rich and you're poor." And that's like the human world. You have to be with your own folks. And she tells him, "When I'm sitting on the king's plate, you are in the ass of a horse." And when he hears that, he gets very angry, grab her by the wings and slam her to the ground. And that's not very nice, isn't it? But they are nasty creatures, the horseflies, we know that. And suddenly she changed her mind totally. Okay. When are we going to get married? And the horsefly says, "Oh, at harvest time. That's when there are most insects, and we're going to invite all of them to our wedding." And so they did. The fleas was playing music, the mosquitoes were dancing, and everything was absolutely wonderful. And they lived happy ever after, I'm sure. That's the story. And after the song, there comes a little dance tune, and you can imagine the wedding dance. Bremsen tog ståler og spor på, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Så red han sig til fluens gård, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Og hørte du flue både færd og fin, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Og vil du være der kæresten min, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Hvor kan jeg blive der kæresten din, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. For du er fattig og jeg er rig, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Når jeg sidder på kongens fad, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Så sidder du i hestens røv, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Bremsen tog fluen ved vingeben, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Smed hende ned i randesten, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Snøfter med gråd, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Når skal der vort bryllup stå, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Marie dag som falder i høst, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Til der er bremser og flue og flest, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria. Der blev så stort et brudehus, kom fint, kom færd, kom patria. Der spillede en loppe, der dansede en lus, kom brejer, pisatri, tatria.
A wonderful story about the housefly and the horsefly.
Oh yeah.
So it's time for our waltz, maybe the most romantic waltz we have on our repertoire. Certainly one of our favorites. It's called I skumringen. It means in the twilight zone. And I kind of like to imagine that in the midsummer time in Scandinavia and Denmark, twilight zone comes pretty late. Maybe there has been, an evening dance on some outside dance floor somewhere, and you've been dancing all night, and finally you found your favorite partner, and finally the band will play this tune, and then it just doesn't get much better, I think. That's my little imagination there, but
Well, very lively imagination.
Well, but it's a nice tune, that's the main thing, and it's our last waltz of the evening, so everybody who wants to dance a waltz, now's your chance.
Thank you. I skumringen.
Beautiful dancing, ladies and gentlemen. And that brought us up to our final piece of the evening. But before we play that, I want to thank you so much for coming out. Thanks for coming here and supporting live music. And It's been great to be back here at the focal point. Thanks a lot to Jim and Nancy and Rex and everybody who's been involved in making this happen. I very much hope it won't be our last visit here. We would love to come back more times. And, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. The last piece is one called Keraus. It's a tune for a kind of what some people call a long dance. It's maybe you noticed, of course, most of the tunes we play is dance music, and this one is maybe the easiest dance of them all. All you have to do is stand up and hold each other's hands, and then you make a long line, and somebody leads the line out, and you can zigzag in and out between the chairs, and maybe even go to the bar area or somewhere else, or up on the stage behind us, or what. Depends on the person leading. But this dance is still used around Christmas time in Denmark, but then people just sing to it. But here we found a really spectacular festive tune that goes under that name, Keraus, and has been used as the last dance of the evening at parties back in Denmark. So with that, we want to thank you all for tonight, and hopefully see you soon again. Do you want to try out the dance? You look like you might be up for it, as far as I can see. So just stand up and hold each other's hands, everybody who want to try. And you can use exactly your favorite steps. Doesn't have to be any particular steps. As long as you can walk, it's fine. Okay, here's already a group. Excellent. Everybody can join whenever they feel like it. Thanks again.
you so much. Well, I think we're taking a little download. I'm an old man and I have to think about that. You will play a very nice old. It used to be. We are back again in the 1700s, I'm sure, maybe even further away, and it's a tune that was called Duetto Fagotto in these sheets. We found it, and that means a duet for bassoons. And we tried to play it was written out in two voices actually, and we tried to play them. I remember. And it was totally, it didn't make any sense at all, the way we read it, in fact. So it was written down in 6/8 time, but suddenly it turned into a waltz. And that's how we have played it ever since. It's a very nice old tune here.
Thanks again.